Hello everyone and welcome back to Hemel-Down Model Railway. So this update is all about the new scenic section that I've started to create. So without further ado, let's crack on with the video and see what I've been up to. So this is today's project. What I've done is to remove this top baseboard from the far corner on the left there. And what I'm going to do is create my first hillside on there, and then also create a large hill round in this corner. Right, so I'm going to do a little bit of a speeded up version and I will bring you back once it's done. So I'm at the stage now where I've just done a first layer of plaster bandage. Some of the slightly bigger gaps I've put a little bit of filler just on the edge along there, and then once this has sort of started to dry up a little bit, you get quite a lot of particles and sort of like almost a paste in this corner. So I'm just letting this sort of set for a bit, and then as you can see on here, what I'm doing then is to go over the top of the plaster, and it gives a bit more of a smoother, sort of thicker finish compared to sort of how it was there and what you can see there. So yeah, I'm just working my way all the way down on this section. What I've done is to do the main part of this section here as well, and as you can see, the sort of trains will disappear off in the background there like that. What I need to do is get a little bit more plaster bandage to be able to finish these sides. So what I'll do is just work on getting that back piece done, get it painted up brown, and then ready for some detailing. So this is the top section all painted up. What I've done is to paint it all in a brown acrylic. I've put a grey acrylic down the middle here where the ballast will go and the two tracks. I've also painted up the majority of this hillside. This hillside or cliff face here will be actually in some stone. And then because there's going to be a lot of trees and shrubbery on here, I wanted to show that there was quite a lot of sort of muds and embankment. So rather than it all just being sort of grassy, I'm going to put quite a few different sort of textures into it. So I've got a load of these Javis scatters. I've got sort of coarse grass, dark green coarse grass, some more dark greens, some rough pasture, some heather green. And what I'm going to do is just sort of sprinkle that in between sections of the muds where there will be trees. Obviously there's no sort of real grasses that grow sort of around trees, so you will see a bit of sort of bare mud and stuff, and it will just look like there's a mixture of old leaves and bits of bushes and stuff all in around this section. So it's going to be a real sort of mix of blends of colours and greens all in there. There's going to be a little footbridge that will cross over there. So quite a few months ago I did a video, and I'll put a link up in the top corner, for a visit to the Gerrards Cross footbridge, and I went there recently with Al from Buckland Junction, and just using these ratio spear fencing, which is exactly the same as the fencing that's on the actual footbridge itself. So I've just taped it on a bit of card, but I'm going to make a footbridge that will sort of stretch at an angle across there, and then a couple of sort of leg supports that will go down onto the baseboard as well. So I'm going to do a little bit of a speeded up version of some of the progress that I do for this section, and then I'll bring you back at the end and we'll take a little bit of a closer look. So let's see how much I can get done. So that's the first coat of mud down on this section. Now I've put quite a thick layer of PVA over, so when it starts to dry, you'll see that there'll be some darker patches, some lighter patches, and what I've done is, as they start coming through, I've just added a little bit more of a layer, just so that it gives a little bit of variation in some of the muds and stuff. So I'm going to come back in a little bit and wait for a few hours for this to dry. Then I'm going to turn it over, tap it off and hoover it up, and then I should be then able to start doing some of the static grassing down along the top edge of this one and this one here as well, and then starting to add in some trees and bushes and some scatter mixes once this is fully dry. That's 2 layers of static grass. I've used 2mm of summer with some 4mm patchy on the top, and then what I did was to put some wild meadow 6mm just on the edge, and then I've used some of the Javis meadow mix and heather, just to add in, like, there's a bit of flowerage and sort of wild flowers all in a kind of meadowy field, all up on the back section. So here we are a couple of days later, after I've had a bit of a weekend out at the Bluebell Railway. Today's project, what I'm going to do is get some filler down on this section here and then turn that into a bit of a cliff face. I'm going to make up some small trees to go in this section here from some seafoam. Then I'm going to static grass up this section here to match the one that I've created in that section. This will start to form a bit of a pathway that will then lead over to a bridge as well. So I'm hoping in the next couple of days I should have all of this detailed up with all of the scenic material, and then I'll be building a little footbridge in there as well. So I'm hoping by the end of this video I can get that all done. So let's stop talking. I'm going to speed up a little bit of some of the work that I do, and we'll have a little bit of a running session, and I'll show you some of the trains passing through this section. Right, so I'll be back in a bit. So I've added in the trees and the detailing for the embankment. Now the white bits should go nice and clear once that's dried off. But yeah, quite happy with how this scene's looking. I think it adds nice variation of different colours and stuff in there. So now is to work on static grass in the top, and then to build the colours up. The same process as what I've done on here is to build that up on that section. And then with a few more bushes down the bottom, a little bit of static grass mixed in there as well, and a few tufts, I think that will blend in quite nicely. So here we are with this section. I'm pretty much finished. I'm probably going to add a couple more trees just to kind of break up the dark green and just put some kind of light trees in that will match up with the other side of the layout. But as you can see, the back section's all dried up, and I've now finished the front section. It's still a little bit wet, so that needs to just dry off. I've done a little pathway here in between some bushes. I'll add a few more weeds in that and stuff in the future once that's dry. I just need to let this layer set. But then the path sort of banks round past the tree and up onto what will be the footbridge there. And then I'm going to add in a few more bushes and stuff just to kind of cut that edge off there, and then a little bit of sort of detailing or a bush or something up here just to sort of block off that people wouldn't walk up into that section. But I'm pretty happy with how that looks. I think it's going to look quite a nice scene. And then to have some houses and gardens just in down here. And it was suggested that maybe I bring this road over a little bit, so I'm going to make it a bit narrower and bring it closer to the bridge, just so then I've got a bit more space to put houses and gardens at the back here. Right, so I'm going to put this back on the layout. I'm just going to give it a bit of a hoover up and have a little bit of a running session. So thank you very much for joining me on this update. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the new embankment and hillsides that I've created. Unfortunately, I was unable to get the bridge finished in time to put it into this update, so that will carry over to the next update. And what I'll also include in that is detailing up and adding some lighting into the houses for this bottom section that you see just off the hillside. I'll probably add a little bit more detail to the embankments, just a little bit more sort of some weeds and stuff. I'm just going to see how it looks once the glue's dried. So thank you very much. I'll leave a couple of running shots at the end, and I will speak to you all in the next update. Bye for now.